brings in a lot of controversial things, but the topic is who should be allowed to teach this dance that we do, or street dances in general, right? I don't, this is an open discussion. I have some opinions, but definitely not set in stone. They're more just thoughts that I think I'm just trying to make sense of it. So there's an idea floating around. This one's controversial, but this idea of like permission, and like seeking permission to teach the dance. And that doesn't sit well with me. I don't know if it's the kid that was a skateboarder growing up that has a disdain for authority, but to ask permission to teach something is weird to me. But this brings up the concept that I was thinking about of whose responsibility is it? I think that's really where the discussion lies, is whose responsibility is it? Whether it is who should be allowed to teach, who's enforcing who should be allowed to teach, does the student have any responsibility of what they're learning, right? Because this idea of permission is almost like, there's a couple things that come to mind when I think of it. It's like trying to shut down anybody else who comes into competition. Also, some people might say it's trying to protect the culture from watering it down. Some may say, this person hasn't earned their stripes or doesn't have the knowledge to teach, or they haven't given back enough to the community in which it's from. There's all different types of ways, and I think this goes way beyond dance, but my discussion might lie like in the examples of what we can think about as far as what are things that are like what we do, and maybe we can see some mistakes or things that have worked in the past. One that comes to mind is martial arts. So there's martial arts schools all around, right? And then you have like fight leagues, and you have like, PFL, you have UFC, you have different fight leagues around the world. Ones that are more like low level, and then you have the premier leagues, right? Just like any other sport. But then you also have, these the club teams, or you have like martial arts studios, right? That are taught on every corner in every city, right? Like, and the teachers in there, there's belt systems. In the belt systems, like maybe in you can say in most martial arts, you should be at least a black belt before you open up a school. But can a brown belt teach? Can a blue belt teach? Can a purple belt teach? Can a white belt teach? Should they be allowed to teach anything? Or should black belts only teach? Should, third degree black belts only teach? Should professional fighters only teach? Because there's professional fighters, but they're not always black belts either, but they're effective at what they do. And then there's also people that teach martial arts or dance that are extremely gifted at teaching, but not as effective in any of the platforms that we have, whether it is YouTube, whether it is like Showcase, whether it's battles, whether it's any of the platforms that we have today. They don't shine in those, but they're gifted at teaching. And then there's people that are extremely gifted at the craft itself, extremely they're excelling in competitions, they're excelling on social media, but they're garbage at teaching. But they're from the culture, but maybe they don't even pass down anything that's cultural. Maybe they're bad teachers. Maybe they actually are promoting movement that causes injury. Maybe they're promoting bitterness. Maybe they're passing down their feuds with other dancers. Maybe they're teaching things that are actually dividing people, or they're ill-intentioned, or they make it about themselves. There's that too. And then there's those people that are maybe that are lower skilled as of right now, but they have the ability to teach lower skilled techniques to other people that are even lower skilled, right? And there's so many different techniques that I can learn from a white belt, right? From a white belt dancer, or from a beginner dancer that maybe he is privy to knowledge that I haven't come across, and to be open to that. Now, the main thing is, should people be allowed to make money off teaching if they haven't really, what the culture wants to say is, paid their dues, right? Should they be allowed to make money? And then there's situations where we can all think of examples, and we ain't gotta name no names, but when we think about people from smaller cities that maybe not have the opportunity to consult with people from the original generation or OGs, or they're just not, they don't have the ability to connect with the actual culture. So their whole connection is through the internet. And so maybe they learned all these skills off of YouTube, but they really applied themselves. They really went to online school and they got a degree per se, right? Now, maybe they don't have all the nuances of the culture, but maybe they have a really great understanding and ability to teach because they've learned from scratch, and they were able to go on the internet and really look at all the nuances of the movement, study the clips, right? And we don't really have an excuse as far as knowledge is concerned, because it's all out there on the internet. So when you have these martial arts studios or dance studios, or these people that want to teach, that are maybe have no connection to the culture, but now they're flying under the flag of a name, and they've been asked to teach or something, or they want to teach themselves, they want to share what they enjoy, who is to regulate that? And this brings up my next analogy is, like, should it be like the FDA, like the Food Drug Administration? Should we have like an organized body that's going around and regulating the authenticity of the dance, right? Because if you look at food, you have the FDA, right? And they're choosing what is healthy to consume for people. And so if you're deeming what's healthy to consume for people, you're always going to have black market stuff, because one, it costs money to run that FDA, right? We don't have taxpayer dollars in the dance scene. So then you're talking about how do you regulate that? Who's to say? Who's to regulate it? So who's to be qualified, right? And so these are just thoughts, but like, you can make the argument that, say somebody from a small town that doesn't have any access, like nobody in that town has access to the dance, nobody has access to the culture, and they have access through the internet. So then they want to take a physical class in person. This person offers their knowledge and their skill. And it's the same with, like, you got salsa classes, you got martial arts classes that are offered to average people. And this is where I think the responsibility of the student really comes into play. Yes, the teacher has a responsibility, I think, to to provide the best information possible. But I also think it's ultimately the student's responsibility to determine what is good knowledge, what is good, what is good, you know? Like, you have to determine that for yourself. So maybe you're just showing up to the dance class because you want community, you just want to have fun. Some people want to show up for the real deal. They want a full-blown culture experience, right? But some people so as far as the watered down version of it, that's what the majority of people are gonna get. And does that hurt the people that are hardcore, that really know the culture, that really know the history? Does that hurt it, or does it actually help it, in the sense that more people are getting exposed to the movement, more people are going to end up researching, more people are going to end up researching the history, more people are going to get curious about where it comes from, because maybe the teacher is bad and doesn't know the history, but a good student will recognize that, oh snap, I have a lot of questions and that my teacher can't answer these, so I gotta find something else. And the internet is there. The internet is, you just Google popping, you start digging down the rabbit hole. That's one thing poppers are really good at, is going down rabbit holes. Like, that's one thing we all have in common, is like the fact that we found this dance means we're all rabbits down the rabbit hole. So this is just some thoughts. I think, I'm curious to get you guys' opinions on this stuff. I mean, a lot of this stuff is touchy subjects. You talk about cultural appropriation, you know, there's all types of stuff that comes up in this. And, you know, ultimately what we're trying to do, I think there's a lot of names that we can call people. There's a lot of things, a lot of flags we can fly under for being shit human beings. And I don't think we need to overcomplicate that in the sense of like generalizing or, you know, canceling people. It's like, the shit people will cancel themselves. I mean, you don't have to tell somebody that that somebody's a bad human to cancel them, right? Like, everybody should be able to discern that at this point. So I'm curious to get you guys' opinions on who should be allowed to teach, who should be able to earn money from it. Maybe we should just, you know, everybody's got to pay a 15% tax to all the OGs that help us get here. You know, I don't know. These are just random ideas, and I don't feel like I quite grasp it all, but I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. This one's a touchy one, y'all. Try and keep the comments on topic and not any personal attacks, you know, because like the only way forward through this stuff is discussion. Because I want to see the community grow. I want to see teachers teach, you know. I want to see the best teachers, and a lot of teachers are scared right now. A lot of people are scared to teach because they feel like they're an imposter, or they feel like they are going to get attacked. And I think, you know, just because somebody is from a culture doesn't mean they're a good teacher or can articulate stuff, you know. I think that's their responsibility to be able to share with the world what they love and what they do best. I don't know, like, where does entitlement lie in this sort of stuff? This stuff's touchy, man. It's really touchy, and you know, I just bring up this topic in hopes that it will clarify some things for some people. And yeah, much love, y'all. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I hope you guys are well. Peace.